Hi, and welcome to this session on emerging trends in automotive manufacturing and supply chain. I have with me Mr. Hal Zimmerman, who is the Vice President and General Manager of Munro Wright Solutions at Teleco.
Great to be here.
Thank you for joining us, Hal. And I also have with us Miss Sarah Waldo, who is the HR Executive Director at Munro Wright Solutions at Teleco. Thank you so much for agreeing to speak with us.
Absolutely.
Uh, when it comes to technology and technological trends redefining automotive supply chain and the way we know it, the landscape of automotive manufacturing, a few thoughts come to our mind, be it the IoT integration in real-time operational excellence, or be it the integration of AI-led automation to increase operational efficiency. Uh, Hal, my question to you is, what are some of the key technologies, especially around AI and Gen AI, that you see redefining the current landscape
Sure.
of automotive operations and manufacturing?
Absolutely. So first, exciting time for automotive. It's almost the new renaissance of automotive. And if I could just start by talking a little bit about Monroe Wright Solutions and what we do for our customers. We're the premier suspension system provider for tier one automotive suppliers. The DNA of these cars come from our systems. We're the reason why they're able to charge so much because of the handling and the feel and the attachment that these consumers get to the car. And so it's an important role when it comes to automotive and the growth of automotive. And we rely heavily on digital technology to progress our business, mostly to serve our customers better. And it starts all the way in the design of our products, where we're able to simulate real time before even building what's going to happen for our end products, to how we manage our teams and develop our organizations to be better and bring our talent to the next level. And so really there's a lot of facets of digital technology in the space, but really we primarily focus on our customers and how to create value for our customers. And then we also use those digital technologies to build our teams. And so those are the two areas where we have a lot of investment, and it's a priority for our business.
Great. I mean, I know you come from a rich and vast experience when it comes to operational excellence and commercial growth and advanced technologies, and that too not just in automotive, but across sectors like medical devices you have worked in, and you have some experience in core manufacturing industry as well. Um, this illustrious career and this illustrious journey that you've had so far,
Yeah.
what are some of the key lessons and some of the key experiences that you would want to share from that?
Sure. So my roots come from manufacturing. I started off in manufacturing as my first role, and I've been doing it for 30 years, so I'm passionate about it. I would say that, for me in manufacturing, I've adopted the thought process and the cultural process around, lean and lean manufacturing, which of course, Toyota spearheaded as being one of the best in the world, and they were my first customer, and so they left an imprint on me. And so you have to have a certain joy for manufacturing and what it's about and the value it creates. And that passion, of course, comes out in my enjoyment for the business. I would say that, for me, from the largest learning is how do you build really cohesive and strong, high-performing teams? And you can use all these tools and use all these mechanisms, and they really don't mean as much if you're not getting the behavior out of your team that aligns with a high-performance environment and mental state, and a mindset that is, very sort of robust and resilient to the changing environment. Automotive is not easy. Out of all the manufacturing I've worked for, it's certainly the most challenging, and I've learned a lot along the way. But that resilience and getting teams to cohesively execute in a focused manner is one of the things that drives success in the space.
Great. I mean, like I said, rich experience in core engineering and technology companies, and great perspective. Sarah, you have yourself had a number of hats that you have donned in strategic HR leadership roles and HR operations roles and talent management and retention roles in technology sector largely. You also have had some stint in marketing, which kind of makes me relate with
Mhm.
you because I'm myself a marketeer. Um, this specific and very special vantage point that you get by being a part of the strategic HR functions in core uh, engineering and technology companies. Uh, how has this journey been? And as the HR leader that you have emerged to be now, how do you see this sector from the lens of strategic HR management and the
Yeah.
experiences of your roles?
Yeah. Um, so my education is in education, actually.
Wow.
So but it translates well into the business of people. It's just older people versus younger people, and but I would say that my journey in manufacturing, particularly in automotive, has been one of a lot of learning and growing, and being able to say yes to any opportunity that has come my way has really given me the ability to learn the business well and to be a real business partner. And I think that has been key to my success, and then being able to give back to the business and give back to my teams. Um, being a true business partner and understanding what we're doing and why we're doing it really provides you a seat at the table. Sometimes HR is seen as a fringe sort of function, but really
Enabling function.
yeah, yes. But from my perspective, it's sort of one of the three. We could say the Trinity, or this executive committee, right? And HR is one of those three pieces in running a successful business. So, um, yeah, that's my journey, and what it's brought me to Tenneco recently, and I'm super excited to be here and ready to learn.
And we are so excited that that we are having this conversation.
Yeah.
And while I was doing my research and homework
Mhm.
before talking to you and Hal, one thing stood out to me. You were categorically, it was mentioned that you are into business matrices and financial analysis, uh, which also brings me to a point that when we talk about emerging technological trends in automotive, there are AI and Gen AI and other technologies which are now being used and are completely changing the workforce management, identification of the right talent, retention, and ramp up, ramp down, uh, complete workforce management that is being redefined by technology. As an HR leader in automotive sector and manufacturing sector, how do you perceive these technologies and their impact on your roles?
So I would say that there's great benefit to many of these, technologies, and there's great benefit, but it will never replace the human touch or that human factor that we bring to our teams and to our business, and using those technologies and tools for what they're worth, and leveraging for what value they do bring, but it doesn't replace the personal interaction and the need for the day-to-day interjecting yourself into the business.
I mean, this reminds me of an interesting conversation I was having with one of the technology leaders in industry, and his point of view was that it's not AI versus humans as much as in the future it will be about humans with AI versus humans without AI. So I think your point of view kind of to me validates that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Hal, just to let you know, at L&T Technology Services, we talk about something called PAI, which is purposeful, agile innovation. The whole idea is keep innovating to meet what the market is demanding of you, what your customers are demanding of you. Um, when it comes to Monroe Right Solutions, how are you preparing for this very dynamically changing automotive sector, and how is that innovation quotient being taken care of in
Yeah, very good question.
MRS
Very good question.
to meet the market demands of automotive?
Yeah, great question. Thank you. So for us, we see ourselves as a tier one automotive supplier in the sense that we really want to partner with our customers, but through that partnership, we're able to see the problems through a different lens and innovate alongside our customers. I think our customers have a variety of problems they're trying to solve at one time, and we come in as a specialist and kind of see their pain points, and then we try to develop ahead of those. Say, hey, coming down the road, cars are going to be heavier because they're going to be electric, or hybrid cars are going to need different types of solutions. And so we try to get ahead of that, bring that information, that valuable, critical gold nuggets back to our organization and say, okay, how does our development pipeline align with that? And so within that framework, we're able to almost set markets as opposed to responding to markets, which is the key. If you're always responding to markets, you're behind. But if you're bringing new ideas and new fresh understanding to your customers and saying, hey, we've noticed that you do these 3 or 4 things, and we have this answer, what are your thoughts? The customer then starts to think in a different way, and then it becomes a true partnership, and that's where the value is created.
Interesting point of view. And it's interesting you use the term partners for your customers, or you're partnering with your customers, something we also believe at L&T Technology Services. It's more about strategic long-term partnership. Is there a different approach to some midterm objectives and charters and then a long-term vision at MRS? And while you were answering that, would you also want to touch upon how possible partners, other than the customer partners that you have, how ecosystem partners can play a possible role in achieving that vision?
Yeah, sure. Great question. So first of all, you got to be good at the basics.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about very strategic things here, which are fun, right? But the more tactical things are now a given. If you can't deliver on time, if you don't have good safety, good EHS environment, and people are getting hurt in your plants, big problem. If you have poor quality. So those are the basics of doing business now in a manufacturing environment. So you have to be very good at those things before you even can have a conversation with a customer where they trust you enough to involve you in those conversations, for sure. When I take a look at partnerships and secondary partnerships like L&T, we're looking for the same response from you all that we give to our customers, and almost in a sense a multiplier for that environment. If there isn't a multiplier effect through the relationship, then you got to question, okay, is it set up right? And so the investment that we make, we do view it as, in some ways, an investment, is because we know it's going to create exponential value, not just the tactics of execution, which is the primary factor of why we do it.
Interesting and very insightful. When we talk about partnership, we also look at partnership inside the ecosystem of our companies and not just with our stakeholders outside the company. In fact, so much so as we consider all our employees and as partners. One of the things that might interest you, Sarah, is that we call all our employees as engineers at heart. One of the most successful campaigns that has happened in recent past is the Engineer at Heart campaign, and some of those people doing wonderful work are also called brand ambassadors, and they carry the word across about what kind of good engineering work they're doing. As a woman in tech, and as a leader who possibly is inspiring the next line of women in tech, what message do you have for not just aspiring women in tech, but also young talent in automotive sector? What are the few key messages or takeaways what you want to share with them?
So springboarding off of the word partnership is a great segue, because the thing that I would strongly recommend and encourage, not just young women but young talent, is to build strong networks, and especially when you're new in a company or a space, spend that first 90 days just making all of the connections you can make. And building then off those connections to fabricate strong relationships. Finding mentors and not necessarily mentors from the exact same space you're in, but cross-functional mentors and build those relationships and gain from the experiences that others have had before you. Another thing I would say, particularly for women, is the automotive industry and tech as well, but automotive specifically is a very, Hal mentioned earlier, a very challenging environment. It is not for the weary. It is a grind.
It's not for the weak of heart.
It is, right. It is a grind, and it is a pace that is very different from many other manufacturing environments. And so, creating a spirit of resilience in yourself and keeping a positive outlook, particularly when what you see as failures or missteps, mistakes, however you want to describe them, those are opportunities to learn, right? At Tenneco, we talk about we don't, win or lose or fail. We win or learn. And you take those opportunities to, course correct, to learn and not make those, same mistakes again. And so we provide in our space the liberty to be able to do that. It's a safe space to make some mistakes and learn. But that takes resilience. It takes resilience. And then, I mentioned earlier, a lot of the opportunities that I got to learn and grow were by saying yes, not knowing how I was going to do it or, how we were going to get from here to there. But someone taps you on the shoulder for an opportunity to, involve you in something and you say yes. And it's always something valuable to take away from it and put in your toolbox. So, that would be, what I would say are key items to get you through, early in your career to really start off to a strong start.
Put so well. Thank you so much. So now we're nearing the end of this great, insightful discussion on the key trends which are defining the automotive operations and supply chain landscape. We touched upon technology, we touched upon people, we touched upon the role of AI as an enhancement and not as a replacement. But the biggest takeaway for me from this discussion today is you either win or you learn. In that spirit, I would again thank you, Hal, and thank you, Sarah, for taking out time, agreeing to talk to us. I really appreciate it. And for such insightful discussions and point of view of leaders like Hal and Sarah on industry and what's redefining the industry, stay tuned. Thank you.